What's up, everybody? You were tuned in to the Cris and
Mal.
podcast, episode 2. It's the second episode. We back. It's been a crazy week in sports this week. Capped it off yesterday with some crazy stuff going down. We're going to talk about all of that. Before we do that, what's up, Mal? How you feeling? How you living, man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, man. How you doing? How you doing today, man?
I'm great, man. I can't complain. I'm off, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
chilling.
Yeah. So I want to make a PSA. I know a couple people talking about my background right here. You know what I mean? This is good feng shui, people. It's good feng shui. I got my little Batman, my man right here. He chilling.
I see him.
You know what I mean?
Bit.
But I supposedly I guess I have a piece that's supposed to be arriving so I can hang up on my wall. So this will be better, you know what I mean? And obviously when I get my house, that whole vibe would be different. So, but just PSA, please, good feng shui, you know what I mean? Clear mind, white wall. There you go. You know what I'm
saying? yeah, my lady said something about your background too.
Yeah, love though. Send her my love, man. Send her my love, man. Send her my love, dog.
You need to back something in the background.
I know, man. Bro, I've lived here, man, but I know this is not going to be my final resting stop. So it's just like I really don't have no motivation to hang up anything. Like I do have creative ideas I want to do, like I would do for this, but right now, man, I'm in the process of trying to find a house right now. So, I did that yesterday, man. I found, they have some nice cribs, bro. Like maybe like 10 minutes from here, bro. Probably run around 5, but we'll see what's up, man. We'll see how it goes.
Okay, so I see you, brother. I see you.
Hope
you get one.
Try to level up,
hope
man.
You get there.
I appreciate you.
I'm gonna get there one day.
You will, bro. You will.
All right, man. We got a lot of stuff to cover today, bros.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and get it. Topics of the day. You know what I'm saying? Topics
of the day. I don't know if anybody even caught that last week, but that was hilarious.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
We work in progress, baby.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Live and learn.
We're on 2, man. 2. Give us time. It'll be cool.
But let's talk about NBA Finals, brother. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Was it Game 3? We filmed right before Game 3, right?
Right before Game 3, yeah. So Game 3, Game 4 have already happened. Game 5 tonight.
And that game was pretty much the Jokic and Jamal Murray show.
Mm-hmm.
Mixed in with the kid. What's his name? Christian Brown.
Brown.
Whatever.
Yeah, Brown.
Yeah.
Because looked like he's like 16.
Yeah, I know. He came in, did his thing a little bit off the bench, but it was mostly Jokic and Jamal Murray taking over in that game. And then the game on Friday, it was a little bit of everybody, Aaron Gordon, Jokic, a little bit of everybody sprinkled in. But Denver looks like, Game 5 today?
Game 5 tonight, yeah. Mm-hmm.
It looked like Denver's about to close this thing out pretty much. Yep. Looks like they're picking up steam. I just don't feel like the Heat have enough to deal with their height and their depth. So I feel like this is going to be the year Denver Nuggets take the championship. What are your thoughts?
I totally agree with you. I know last week I thought it was way more competitive, especially after Game 2. Mm-hmm. But Jimmy, man, he still hasn't really shown up, man. I really don't know what's going on, man. Like, I just really haven't seen that intensity my man had brought with when he went against the Bucks and even with the Celtics, man. Just, you know what I mean? Like, I don't see no bark with him, you know what I mean? So, but overall, man, you could just kind of see like all the players like Strus and Duncan Robinson and Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent, man, who are kind of hitting all playoffs, kind of seem like they've hit their wall. They came back down to earth. Bam, I shout out to Bam. Bam's been hooping, man. I really can't complain about Bam. Bam's been the only guy that's been really consistent all finals long with the Heat, you know what I mean? So, and supposedly Tyler Hero's supposed to be back tonight, so we'll see how that goes, see if he can give them a little boost. But man, you're not stopping right now. Jamal Murray's playing out of his mind. I said like right before, game was a Game 3. Yeah, they had that 30-point triple-double. Him and Jokic, man, they were pretty much killing that pick and roll game between them two, man. No one has been able to figure that out. So I can't see the Heat figuring that out. I think Coach Spoelstra has literally tried every kind of defense you could try. I personally still, from watching it, I still don't think that they should be doubling Jokic. I think they should just pretty much just man up. Like at the end of the day, doubling is not helping. He's still getting 25 to 30 points, over 10 rebounds and over 10 plus assists. I think right now you should just pretty much just face up, man, guard your man. You know what I mean? Like, don't leave no one open. Don't let KCP get hot. Don't let Bruce Brown get hot. Braun, Michael Porter. Michael Porter hasn't even really shown up the last couple games. His minutes has actually gone down. So I really think they should just man up, let Bam just take Jokic on, man. Hopefully they can, hopefully you can do something on him where maybe they can try to get him in foul trouble, But yeah, man, honestly, man, this is a wrap, bro. You might as well just crown him right now at this point.
Yeah, I think they're gonna close it out today. So the Denver Nuggets are about to be the NBA champions for this season. So
yeah. I would say this though. I think everybody. I've been watching a couple, sports analyst guys on ESPN, Fox, and some other podcasts where they're really trying to portray this whole Jokic is like the greatest center on earth type of thing, like ever, that has been born. I think everybody should just pump their brakes. I think the last 3 seasons he has been really, really good. This playoff run has been probably definitely up there as far as like one of the greatest runs as far as player wise. I think you can make some statements about who they played, especially like Timberwolves. I don't think the Timberwolves were a very smart team. I really still don't get that Rudy Gobert trade. Devin Booker and KD, that's all they really had. Them guys were pretty much burnt out. And then I really think that Lakers series was probably, I think the Nuggets played one of the best rounds you could probably think of against. And that Lakers series, was close. All those games were really close. That could have went either way. You know what I mean? So I think everybody should just pump the brakes with Jokic, man. Like I've heard people saying like this man never makes a mistake and all this other type stuff. And I'm like, yo, slow it down. He's a great, great player. I still need to see a couple more rings with him for me to put him up there with like a Kareem, a Bill Russell, a Shaq, a Hakeem Olajuwon, stuff like that. But he's heading that way, obviously if he continues to play like this and their team continues to win it, like obviously he's heading in that direction.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not putting Jokic over Shaq and Bill Russell or Will Chamberlain or any of those, Kareem. I'm not putting them over those guys.
No, not at all.
Not yet.
No.
All right, so Chris Paul was pretty much released from the Suns, and he's garnishing a lot of people wanting his services this season. I've heard your Lakers, the Clippers might want him back. There's been a few other teams. What do you feel like Chris Paul would be best served to go to?
Well, I know he hasn't really been waived yet. I know they're still trying to figure it out, but I think at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. Honestly, man, I wouldn't be mad if he came to the Lakers. I wouldn't want him to be our starting point guard. I think you have Austin Reeves. I would love to get Dennis Schroeder back. I don't think D'Lo's going to be back. I don't want D'Lo back. I appreciate what he did, but I'm good. I think if Chris Paul were to back up like a Dennis Schroeder and an Austin Reeves, because Austin Reeves obviously this playoffs is, he did show that he can run the offense. He can do the pick and roll with Anthony Davis and Braun. And then I love Dennis Schroeder with his game where he's very his intensity. His defense I think is up there as far as like guard defense. But I could see him either staying with the Suns where they could possibly maybe renegotiate his deal and maybe he'll have like a lower cap hit. I don't see him going to Boston. I think it would fit, but I know his family is in LA, so obviously, at the stage he's at in his career, I'm assuming he would love to be closer to his family. You know what I mean? I think the last couple of years he hasn't even been staying with them during the season. So I think what's going to happen, I think the best 2 spots, honestly, are probably the Lakers or the Suns. But with me and my team, it all depends on, they definitely got to re-sign Reeves. I definitely want to get Schroeder back and then have him kind of like come off the bench and maybe save him for the playoffs where he can start using his, veteran expertise to help our team, get over the hump. I think comparing him with LeBron and AD, I think it fits. I really do believe it fits. Yeah, besides that, man, I really can't think of any other team that he would possibly fit. I guess maybe if Kyrie Irving were to leave the Mavericks, you can probably pair him with Luka. I think it would be a better fit than Kyrie, honestly. Yeah. Trying to think who else, man. that's about it, man. I know Chris Paul, man, he's up there in age, man. So I don't know how many more years and years he has left. You know, them hammies been giving him problems. You know, I think he had the groin injury this past playoffs. So man, it'll be interesting, man. I'm kind of curious. I'm sure they'll find a resolution here soon, especially with the draft coming up. I think it's next Thursday. The draft is, so I'm pretty sure they'll probably figure out what direction they want to go with that team.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe he might work something out with the Suns, and get a work some deal out to maybe get his cap space down or whatever, or work a deal, whatever. Or he might end up. I could see him on your Lakers, or maybe even make a return back to the Clippers too.
Right. Too, so. I can also see the Heat too. I can see the Heat. I think it all depends on what he wants to do. Like if he's comfortable not being around his family, then I could see the Heat. I think the Heat will definitely be a good fit, but at the same time, they'll have to get somebody to play the point guard position for the majority of the season. You don't want to tax Chris Paul. You kind of want to save him for the playoffs at this point. He definitely can't play 82, and he definitely can't play a full season, like that without him getting some kind of injury, which sucks for him. That's kind of been his whole career, man. Like injuries have kind of like plagued him from, capturing between injuries and David Stern stopping him from going to the Lakers. That kind of stopped him from getting his ring. You know what I mean? I know he has that perception where a lot of, I guess, players and maybe even fans don't like him, especially, what he's known for, doing cheap shots and his antics. But Chris Paul is a great point guard, man. He's probably one of the best to ever play the game. You know what I mean? Like if you had to rate him, I would assume he would, out of all the point guards, maybe 10 to 15-ish, area. Yeah. So if he brings a ring, I could definitely see him jumping up into the top 10. But yeah, man. So yeah, I said we'll see what happens.
Yeah, for sure. Switching to another guard, Damian Lillard. Now, I don't know what the Trailblazers are doing with this guy. Every offseason, it's like there's speculation of if Damian Lillard's going to get traded, and then he still ends up on Portland. And even there's reports this offseason, like at first, is he going to go somewhere on the East? They're willing to trade him away. Now we're hearing reports that they want to trade Anthony Simmons instead in the 3rd round pick and keep Dame on the team and put somebody around him.
Right.
What do you think is best for the Portland Trailblazers and Damian Lillard? Do you think they should separate, or you think they should just go ahead and try to build something around them?
I think they should separate. You know what I mean? I think he should have separated from that team the moment CJ McCollum got traded. I don't think they have the number 3 pick. I know they're kind of subject to get Scoot Henderson. I like Scoot Henderson a lot, man. I think he's going to be an amazing player once he gets into the league. But even with that 3rd pick and you trying to trade Anthony Simmons to try to get a player or two, I still don't think it will be a good enough team to beat the Nuggets. You still got the Clippers if they get healthy. You still have the Suns, depending on what they do with their roster. You still got the Lakers, depending on what they do with their roster. You got the Thunder coming up. You got the Grizzlies, depending on what happens with John and suspension. You have a lot of teams that I just don't see them overcoming, even with you trading the number 3 pick. Like unless if you can get like a Jaylen Brown and maybe another piece to go along with that, but I don't see the Celtics trading Jaylen Brown, man. I think they're going to keep that band together. So I personally think Damian Lillard should leave. I think the Blazers should stay young, keep Anthony Simmons. I like Anthony Simmons a lot. You pair him up with Scoot Henderson or Brandon Miller from Alabama. You get, and then I think that'll be a good up and coming team. You know what I mean? Give them a couple years and obviously see what happens, especially with Chauncey Billups, heading that team. So, and then I think Dame, reports say he's not going to get traded to the West. It's more likely going to be the East Coast. So, you obviously have the Knicks out there. That'll be kind of an interesting pairing with him and Jalen Brunson. And obviously you would have to give up a lot of them young parts. So you'll see how that goes. You got the Brooklyn Nets. I think they got obviously space. They got players and assets they could probably trade. But I think the main team, obviously, that everybody's really talking about is the Heat. I think if you put Damian Lillard on this team right here in the finals, I think it'll be a whole different scenario with that because, not to get back to that game, but overall, like, I think the Nuggets have been averaging over 109 points a game. I think they're like 119 for the season as far as averaging points per game. And I think right now in the postseason for this finals, I think they're averaging around 108, 109. So like, so they've actually been in a couple of these games. Obviously, it looks a little bit overwhelming at times with them offensively, but there've been plenty of games where Miami Heat were right there. They were like maybe like seven, to 9 points, close, which is not really anything big in the NBA, especially how people are shooting threes. Right. I think Damian Lillard, you have a player like Damian Lillard who can match point for point with a Jamal Murray. You know what I mean? Right. So then you want to have to depend on Jimmy Butler being the sole guy, having to get you 40 points and 10 rebounds and 5 to 6 assists. It'll free up Bam. I think that pick and roll between Damian Lillard and Bam Adebayo would be amazing right there. There's so many different types of offenses you can run. So I would kind of root for Damian Lillard going to the Heat. I would like to see that. Besides that, I really can't see anywhere else. I can't see him going to Boston or anything like that. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's time for Damian Lillard to leave Portland. He, it's been a good run, but they've always been that team that, they got pieces. Even when they had CJ McCollum, you never thought that they was a threat to the Lakers or,
right.
Any of the top teams on the West, the Clippers, whatever. You never thought they was a threat. You never thought they was going to win the championship. They was going to be, that, 5 to 7, 6, 7, 8 seed that was going to make it to the playoffs and get bounced maybe in the first or second round. That's what you thought of Portland, and even when they had CJ McCollum. So
right.
I just think it's time for Dame to move on. He's getting older. He's not getting no younger, and it's time for him to go to a contender, to somebody who can actually be a threat. And if it's on the East, then go to the Heat, or go to maybe the Knicks, or one of them Eastern teams that maybe even 76ers. Go over there and try to compete on the East and possibly win the championship, man. So he's already solidified. We already know the talent of Damian Lillard, but
right.
Put him on one of these championship teams so where he can possibly win him a ring.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think that's all really Damian's missing. There's a couple players that's all they're really missing. It's just that. Not even the ring, but I would just love to see Damian Lillard have a real opportunity. I know they had that little run where they made the Western Conference Finals and they lost to the Warriors. I don't know if they got swept or close to it, but I would like to see Damian Lillard have a real shot at winning an NBA Finals. I would love to see him what he would do in a situation if he were in the NBA Finals. You know what I mean? I think he would put up great numbers, man. I think he's made for that. You know what I mean? So. I guess there's ways. I know. I said I think we talked about the CBA a little bit last week, where it's you got to kind of figure out how you can fit multiple superstars and still get a nice team around you. I think it's going to be really difficult as the years are to come. So I know it's going to probably kind of limit his opportunities on which team can get him. You know what I mean? But I said we'll see. I'm pretty sure there'll be a resolution. If they don't trade that number 3 pick, I think Damian Lillard is gone. I think he's gone within sometime this summer. If they do trade the pick, I'm kind of curious to see what they get for that pick, what kind of player they get, because I can't really think of too many players that are on the market that could be. I guess you can, if you want to do like a Cat Williams, Anthony Towns, not Cat Williams, like Karl Anthony Towns, or man, I don't know. I really don't know. Like maybe Julius Randle, but Julius Randle, I'm good. I'm kind of good. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to get a Giannis. You're not going to get a Giannis. You're not going to get maybe Embiid, but I don't even think he's not even available right now. You know what I mean? He hasn't even asked for a trade. I think if he were to ask for a trade, I think it'll be a year from now. I think it'll be like next summer, where like if it really doesn't work, or maybe like even before the All-Star break, where he would be traded. I don't see him getting traded anytime this summer. So. Yeah, it just kind of limits the options on what the Portland Trailblazers can do, and I just think they should just stay young, man. Really, just stay young.
Yeah, I agree. This whole trading Anthony Simmons thing, I think they're moving backwards.
Nah. Yeah.
Go ahead and go young. You got the 3rd pick in the draft. You can get one of those 2, really good players, and the kid from Alabama or Scoot Henderson, and so go ahead and get one of those 2 guys, pair him with Anthony Simmons, and start the rebuilding process.
Absolutely. And what I mean, just I feel like New York fits. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like even the Heat, but I honestly I wouldn't mind seeing him going to like I think him on the Nets. Like I know the Nets aren't going to trade Mikal Bridges. I would definitely like to see Dame and Mikal on a team. I think that would be a nice little team. I'm not saying it would be championship favorites, but you add one more piece to that, man. That team will be nice for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. Well, let's go off the court a little bit. Well, not even a little bit, a lot of it, because your boy Zion Williams.
Yo, my man is slinging them, boy.
He's getting reports, and it's not about his game. It's not about him playing, which he needs to play this season. But a porn star named Mariah Mills. She's now recently more so of a OnlyFans girl, or OnlyFans model, or whatever. Says she's retired from being a porn star since 2019, but still, she's an OnlyFans girl now. But she's had some type of this side piece, undercover relationship with Zion Williams, and she was on Twitter for the past few days, and probably still right now as we speak. She's probably tweeting about Zion Williams. I had to mute her because she was getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
She was starting to get on my nerves. But she's been tweeting that they've had engaged. Now, if you don't know, people who are watching, Zion Williams just announced that he's about to have a baby, did a gender reveal with the girl that I guess he's seeing. I guess that's his girlfriend or whatever. But I guess didn't they say she's like a stripper or something like that? Or?
Yeah, but I don't know, bro. He got a thing with sex workers. That's all.
Yeah. I'm not going. Don't misquote me. No disrespect to his baby moms or whatever.
Right.
He just announced that he's gonna they're having a boy or a girl.
I think it's a girl.
But he's about to have a baby. And Mariah Mills, she got offended by that, and she went on Twitter on a rampage, calling Zion the stages of in denial set in for Mariah Mills. And at first she's outing him, saying that you lied to me, you didn't tell me this, you didn't tell me that. Then the second part was oh, well, now we gonna have to share you. And then the third part, she started talking trash about him, called him fat, overweight, and I'm the reason why you stayed in shape, and just all kinds of craziness.
Right.
And I just want to know, do you feel like this will be a hit on Zion Williams coming into the season?
No, I don't think so. At the point, man, this girl had a whole work week of tweets that she did that people are just like, Ma, we get it. You know what I mean? We get you hurt that he didn't choose you, that you aren't the baby mama, but you got to let it go. You know what I mean? Like you looking kind of sad out there, Ma. You know what I mean? I want to shout out Zion Williamson. Congratulations on your first child, I'm assuming. Yeah. But I don't think it'll affect them on the court. You know what I mean? The only thing that was interesting to me was the whole like weight thing. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's true, but that's been his main issue. As far as like his career has been him maintaining his weight. I think New Orleans is a bad city for that because I don't know. I haven't personally been in New Orleans, but I do have a family that was raised in New Orleans, so I have tried a lot of the food, and trust me, if it's amazing food. So I know it's kind of hard when you're around that all the time. But the main thing with Zion Williamson, man, if he can stay healthy, if he can maintain his weight and really come into the season really focused, I think we saw it before he got hurt this year that. Bro, the Pelicans were the best team in the league before he got hurt. You know what I mean? They were running away with the number one seed. So I think that's one of the teams that could be a sleeper next year if everybody stays healthy. That could give the Nuggets a run and all these other teams. That's the team that you really need to watch out for is the Pelicans. Like they have a championship squad right now. But as I said, it all maintains with Zion Williamson staying healthy, bro. Like, you know what I mean? He got to lay off the strippers. He got to lay off the beignets. He got to focus, get him. Like, bro, you make too much money. Get you a personal chef. I said the photos and the videos of him when he was doing the baby shower, he looked great. He looked slim. He looked good. I seen Luka looking good out there too. He looking slim. So that's mainly his main issue, bro. So if he can get that in check, man, no one's really worried about him, who he get, slang his thing to. You know what I mean? I'm trying to keep this as PG as possible. You know what I mean? No one cares. You know what I mean? Like, people gonna make memes about it and stuff like that. But at the point, like people were on Mariah's side for a little bit, but the moment she just kept tweeting and tweeting and tweeting and tweeting, like, bruh, like people feel bad for Zion now. Like, you were harassing at this point, Ma. Like, let it go. I'm sure you can find you another man, another athlete that, you know, I don't know if you've seen her videos. I haven't seen her videos, you know what I mean? So
I've heard some things about her.
So you've heard what she working with, you know what I mean? I wasn't really familiar with her game, but yeah. So I only seen pictures of her when this whole thing came about. So man, you know, hopefully they can all move their separate ways. Zion could be a good father and a good boyfriend, or maybe future husband to the lady that's about to give birth to his child. And hopefully Mariah Mills can just focus on her career and find her a new man that will treat her better, per se, and make her happy, man. But besides that, man, no one needs to hear another tweet about this whole situation.
Look, Mariah Mills, all due respect, you played yourself, baby.
Come on.
You played yourself. He's 20, 22, 23 years old. You 31, baby. Like,
for real. We can have a whole conversation about, you know, females and trying to go after athletes. Like, we could have a whole debate, and I would love to have that in a future context with a couple females, just to, you know, have a whole dialogue on that situation. But Ma, as you said, you played yourself, let it go. It ain't that deep. Just keep it pushing. Keep it pushing.
I'm sure you're making good money on OnlyFans.
Facts.
Because you're known. I mean, you're pretty much known, you know, porn star. So, you know, you got a fan base out there. I'm sure they follow you on OnlyFans. You're making your money. No, you're not making Zion Williamson money, but you're making money. You know what I'm saying? So,
man, it's all good. Man, I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen these numbers that these OnlyFans girls are pulling in, boy.
I know.
Some of them looking like NBA contracts a little bit.
And she probably up there with it. So
probably.
Just let it go, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
You'll get over it.
Should be all right.
I'm sure you saw your DMs, and there's some simp basketball player in there trying to pick up the pieces.
Like low key, I was thinking like maybe she was just doing this to, you know, make her brand even stronger. You know what I mean? Because all the light is on her, so now she can promote whatever she wants at this point. You know, new videos, clothing line, lipstick, new hair weave, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? She could do it all. So at this point, you got your 15 minutes of fame, Monster. You better take advantage of it for sure.
For real, yeah. But prayers to everybody involved.
Bro, about to bring Sage onto the thing. Lord. Yeah, for real.
But let's go ahead and switch NHL Finals. You know what I'm saying? The Vegas Golden Knights have took a 3-1 lead over the Florida Panthers. Looks like they about to close it out too themselves. Was the game Thursday? Is it Thursday?
What, the last one?
Yeah.
Or the last one was Saturday.
Saturday. But the next one, the one that they can close out, is on Thursday, right?
Tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Is it tomorrow? Oh, Tuesday. Okay, so tomorrow they can close it out. Look, I ain't gonna sit here and act like I'm a big hockey watcher, you know what I'm saying? But you know, we live in Vegas, and this will be big for the city. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people have gotten behind the Golden Knights since they become a hockey team out here. So, what do you think it would mean for the city for them to win the Stanley Cup?
Oh man, it'll mean everything, man. You know what I mean? The city hasn't seen like a true national championship since the UNLV back in the early 90s. You know what I mean? So, I'm expecting like I hope they pull it out tomorrow. If they pull it out tomorrow, I'm going to be far away from the strip. I'm not trying to have my car vandalized. I'm not trying to have my car jumped on. Anything like that, you know, I can only imagine what's going to be like. So I feel bad for anybody that got to clean up that mess. You know what I mean? But overall, I think it'll be a good vibe for the city. You know what I mean? Our city's been, you know, growing, expanding. You know, the city's not just known for the strip. It's so much more to the city. And I think the Golden Knights have been a good affiliation to represent Las Vegas. You know what I mean? So it'll be great. You know what I mean? Like, I think the Panther fans showed their ass the other day by throwing all the garbage and stuff like that. Like, yo, just take the L, keep it pushing. You know, you guys played a good effort, but overall, I've watched every game of this series. I said, I low key just started getting into hockey when the Knights moved out here. I'm not gonna say I'm some expert or anything like that, like you said, but from watching it from my eyes, you know, the Knights just look like they've been the better team, the faster team, the more physical team. And then the Panthers, man, they just look like they got into their own heads. I think their whole goal was try to get into the Knights' heads. They've been getting their own heads by trying to just be some roughnecks trying to bruise them up, but it hasn't been working. And hopefully they close it out tomorrow. It'll be exciting to see. I'll get my little Stanley Cup championship merch. You know what I mean? I'll definitely get that. You know what I mean? So shout out to the Golden Knights, man. Close it out tomorrow.
Yeah, man. It will definitely be good for the city, especially with the Aces coming off of a championship. Now you get, the Golden Knights getting the Stanley Cup.
So you know what that means, right? You know what that means, right? No, you know what that means, right? Come on, bud. Say it, bro. Say it, bro. Say it, bro. We're missing. There's only one team left, bro. There's only one team left.
Yeah, the Vegas Vipers is going in there.
Yo, man, come on, man. My Raiders, bro. Come on, baby. This is sending the right trend, man. It's gonna send it.
Okay.
Sending positive vibes out there, bro.
We'll see.
Come on, man.
Hey, man. Hey.
Look, I know you got all that Chiefs gear in the background, bro. But come on, man. Imagine the Raiders win the Super Bowl out here in Vegas, bro. That'd be crazy.
I'll call that a word.
Come on, you ain't gonna celebrate the city?
Nope. I'm staying in the house. I'm closing all my blinds and shades and stuff. Lay in the bed and be sad.
Oh, bro, we might have to do a podcast that night. I might be faded, but we gonna have to do it that night. That night.
I'm calling out.
I'm gonna say it, bro. This is what we're gonna do. If we win the Super Bowl, you're gonna have to we're gonna have to do like a little bet or something, bro. We're gonna have to do a little something, man.
Put no Raider gear on now.
Hey, man, you know what I mean? You're gonna have to show us some love. You're gonna have to show us some love, bro.
Put no Raider gear on.
What you mean, dog? Come on.
I can't do that, man.
I'm gonna send you out there and interview all the Raider fans or something.
You're gonna see my eyes. My eyes gonna be rolling the whole time.
Hey, man, it's coming, bro. It's coming, man. It's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming.
Look at disgust on my face, but yeah, back to the Golden Knights.
Right.
No, but for real, I hope the Golden Knights go ahead and take this in. By the time this drop, you know what I'm saying, if they do win it, congratulations.
Absolutely. Shout out to y'all.
All right, let's switch to boxing, man. This is a good weekend for boxing, brother. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Teofimo Lopez went against Josh Taylor in Madison Square Garden. Now, Teofimo is a polarizing character in himself. You know what I'm saying? He always has something drama around him, whether it be with his dad, his family, his motivation going into fights. He's always got a sound bite. He's always got something going on. And it was not this time. He was a little bit more tailored down. No pun intended. He was a little bit more tailored down against Josh Taylor. He would say regular stuff. Josh Taylor would get a little antsy. He would get a little irritated. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
and like we talked about, off camera, is that thought Josh Taylor looked a little rattled, and I was leaning towards Teofimo until they aired that interview with him, and his dad comes in and they get to talking about his life, and he kind of gets rattled, and it just looked like it was a distraction, and I wasn't sure that Teofimo was going to be motivated and focused. Well, I was wrong. He went in there and he handled business in dominating fashion from probably round 2 on. Mm-hmm. Teofimo had control of that fight. He did what he wanted with him. He was clowning on him, doing all kinds of moves and steps, and just he when he wanted to get punches on Josh Taylor, he got it. When he wanted to turn up the offense, he did. When he wanted to turn it down, he could. And Josh Taylor just had no answer for him, and he was dominating. I don't know what's up with these judges and these cards. That 115 to 113 was nasty.
It was.
I don't know what y'all was. I saw them cards. Some of them rounds that you gave to Josh Taylor was terrible. So I don't know what y'all was saying. So personally, I want to give a shout out to Teofimo Lopez for showing up, showing out, and showing the great boxer that you are. Because we know you got the talent, kid. It's just putting it together and being motivated and showing the world that you can do that. So, shout out to Teofimo.
So let me ask you. I'm gonna ask you a question. So he just came out talking about he wants to retire. Well, what are your thoughts about that? What are your thoughts about that?
Man, he ain't retiring, though.
Mm-hmm.
All these boxers, they do all this stuff. They talk. Now, do I want him to get his out of the boxing ring issues in order? Of course. I hope he gets to be with his son and all the good stuff because I'm always for a father being with his son, and so I definitely want to see that. Hopefully that happens. But but other than that, I don't think that he's gonna retire. Not at all. If that money comes in, which he's got some opportunities to make big money fights, he still got Devin Haney. If Devin Haney moves up, he's got Tank. You know what I'm saying? He's got some fighters out there. Even if it's like a Rolly or Regis Progress or
Ryan
one of
Garcia or
those
something,
Ryan Garcia, one of those guys, he's gonna take that fight. Maybe he doesn't fight the rest of this year, or maybe next year he comes back ready to go in the beginning of the year of 2024. But I don't think he's going to retire. He's 25 years old. He's coming off of one of his best fights of his career. Why would you stop that momentum and stamp yourself as one of the best 140 champions out there? So
yeah, no, I totally agree with you, man. Like I thought Teofimo looked like the Teofimo old man. He went out there, he dominated that whole fight, and like I really think that you have all the momentum right now, man. I think a Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney fight would be amazing. You know what I mean? I know we talked about it a little bit off air, but I tend to agree with you. I think Lopez has a really good shot at beating Haney. You know what I mean? That'll be an interesting clash of fights. If he ever got in the ring with Gervonta, man, like the power in those punches between them two, man, I think that would be a lightning fight. You know what I mean? I think Teofimo, he's one of them guys, man. He's kind of wide range in emotions. You know what I mean? He has his highs, but he also has his lows. You know what I mean? So, I think right now, I just think that he's just probably in a space where, with everything going on, as you talked about the whole interview, especially with his pops, it just seemed like something's going on in the background. Maybe he just needs to take a little bit of a break. Maybe he understands himself now better, where he's just like, look, I went through this. Let me take a step back. I'm gonna say I'm retired, but overall, like I know I'm not deep down. Like I don't think he's 26 yet. I don't think he's 26, 27 yet. Nah, so he has plenty of years left, man. You know what I mean? And there's so much money out there. I think especially the year boxing is having, I think there's going to be so much money out there for them because people are seeing what these big boxing fights are doing for the sport. So I just think there's too much money out there that he's going to come back, man. There's too many big fights out there in his division and his classes that he can hit where they will put up big numbers. And I know he was asking for over 100 million. Like, bro, you're not going to get 100 million. But if you take multiple big fights, you could possibly hit 100 million. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, bro, like, you can tend toward that A side if you continue doing what you did this past Saturday. So hopefully he doesn't retire. And hopefully he takes one of these next fights.
Yeah, I agree. I don't see him retiring, and I just think it's talk. Try to rev up the price or whatever. I don't even think you're trying to get 100. You always set your price high so you can get the real price that you
100%. So let me ask you another question. Where would you rank him at now, as far as like, I guess pound for pound? If he's in the top 10, if he's not top 10, or is he close?
He's definitely top 10.
Think he's top 10?
He's definitely top 10.
Do you think he's above Haney? Do you think he's above Haney?
No. Well, yeah. Because he beat Lomachenko too, and his Lomachenko win was more
impressive,
more convincing, convincing than Haney's.
Okay,
win. So yeah, I would say he's over Haney right now.
Okay,
I would say he's over Haney. So
for sure.
All right, man. Another polarizing boxer who he's always going to give us a post game, post fight, should I say? soundbite. Adrien, the can man, the problem Broner, had a fight this weekend against a lawyer named Bill Hutchinson.
Right.
Now everybody's complaining about he should have not do that. He's a lawyer, blah blah blah. But the man's been on the 2-year layoff. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, do I think he could have got him out of there? Probably. But I think, you've been on for 2 years. You got to get some rounds in, man.
Right.
I wasn't mad. I actually thought out of all the fights I've seen with Adrien Broner, this is the best I've seen him look in a long time. He was throwing his hands. He didn't look timid. He was always in control of the fight. He didn't let dude hang around and look like he got a possibility to win the fight.
Right.
And some people say he looked tight. I didn't think he looked as tight. He looked very strong from round 1 to round 10. So I feel like that's a good sign in the right direction. Not looking. Am I sitting there saying Adrien Broner's about to take all the belts and all this stuff? No, I don't. I do think he needs more rounds. I know he called out all the champions, which I didn't understand. He fought at 147, but he's calling all the fighters out at 140. Like, I didn't get that part. That was a little weird for me. But I do think that if he could continue on this trajectory, he could possibly get back to being the Adrien Broner that we thought we were going to see coming up before the Maidana fight.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If he could continue this way, continue to work, and you know what I'm saying? Because it was never a question of his talent. It was just his mindset. He was too busy involved in too much other stuff. And then all the drama that came with Adrien Broner with his baby mamas, all the, he fighting people outside the ring and doing all kinds of crazy, all his legal troubles, people shooting at him like
right.
You know what I'm saying? Once he linked up with Floyd, I thought that was the worst thing that happened to Adrien Broner. And, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Floyd, man. I'm not blaming Floyd Mayweather. I just felt like Adrien Broner felt like he had to one-up Floyd to be able to sit in the room with Floyd. So he tried to be Floyd and do all this extra stuff, but you can't be Floyd if you don't fight like Floyd.
For sure. Yeah.
So I hopefully he's got his mind right. Well, he's 33 years old. Hopefully he's always going to be Adrien Broner with his post-fight. Right. I mean, he even proved it at the end of his post-fight what he said. You know what I'm saying? I can't repeat it on here. But, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully he's more focused on boxing instead of that out the ring stuff. So
yeah. I'm not gonna say I watched the fight. So I'm just gonna ask you questions. Like, if you were his promoter, like what would you want him to do? What would his next route be? Like maybe his next boxing fight. What would you like to see?
Put him against like one of the mid-tier 140 guys. First of all, you got to get back down to 140. Like you calling all these dudes at 140. You just fought at 147. Yeah. So if you're gonna fight at 140, I need you to fight at 140.
Yeah. Because was it tough for him to be at 140?
That's his problem. Was making weight. Making weight. And what I'm scared for is that he's gonna go down. Let's say he fights a Ryan Garcia at 140. He might drain himself. And then Ryan Garcia, I ain't gonna say you knock him out, because one thing I can say about Broner got a chin. He's actually got a chin on him. I don't think he'll get knocked out, but he will lose that fight if he tries to take Ryan Garcia at 140.
Okay. Yeah. No, yeah, I totally agree with you. As I said, man, I haven't seen Adrien Broner fight in a couple years, man, because it got pretty depressing watching him, last couple times. So, yeah, man, like hopefully Adrien Broner goes the right route. Like I totally agree with you. I don't see him getting up to that level of championship contender status. Maybe he might be able to get close enough to it where he might get an outside chance of a shot. But yeah, it makes no sense him trying to go down to 140. Like, you're not going to fight Ryan. You're not going to fight Haney. You're not going to fight Gervonta. You need to try to look up. I don't know who else will be in that weight class that he might have an opportunity of getting up there with. Maybe if he can, hit the Charlo numbers as far as like weight, maybe. But overall, man, he just need to keep making fights that he has that can make him look good, and maybe he might start building some buzz where he can get some money out of it.
Yeah, he definitely needs to stay active. Like today, he should be in the gym working.
For sure.
And I know he's with Don King.
Man, that shocked me too. I'm like, yo, how is Don King still promoting, bro? Like, he like 98 years old, bro?
I don't know how old Don King. He looked like he's about 105 on it.
I swear he was like 70 when I was growing up, bro.
When he's in
no
that
offense.
ring, when Adrien Broner was talking, he's like he didn't hear like not one word he said. They look like they just picked him, like they threw some clothes on him.
Yeah,
it's like you need to go on and out there with Adrien. Like he looked like somebody, like he had the granddad sweater on and stuff. He looked terrible.
So how early? So when you think his next fight should be? You think he should be like shooting for like a September, October, something like that?
October.
October.
Maybe by October.
Okay.
Yeah. October, November. I'm not mad at that. Like, but he needs the rounds. He needs to get back in the flow of things. You could tell he was rusty, but but in that rust, he still looked better than what he's looked in a long, long time.
Because how long was he out in the ring? How long he's been out? About 2 years. Okay.
Yeah, 2 years. So he definitely needs the work.
Yeah, for sure.
He's not one of these fighters like Crawford or Spence who could take a year off and still look amazing.
But they took care of their bodies. Like homie, I don't know what homie was doing the last 5 years, but
smoking, drinking, and everything else.
Yeah, for sure.
So hopefully he continues on this trajectory that I saw. So but we'll see.
Yeah.
Staying with the boxing, Floyd Money Mayweather just had an exhibition fight yesterday with John Gotti III.
Yeah,
the grandson of John Gotti.
Yeah.
The Italian mob. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the Italian mob. I don't want no problems. But so there was a little bit of a friction, a brawl that broke out after the fight. The referee, Kenny Bayless, who's known for, he's one of the more polarizing referees that's been in a lot of major fights. He's refereed a lot of major fights.
Right,
in particular, Floyd Mayweather, you know what I'm saying? And Canelo and some of the bigger fighters in the world. But he called the fight after John Gotti was holding Floyd Mayweather and tried to break it up. He wouldn't break it up. So Kenny just called the fight. And you could tell Floyd didn't want him to win it like that. He wanted to probably try to knock him out or whatever. But so after the fight, so John Gotti got mad and he pushes the ref out the way and he still tries to fight after he got disqualified. Well, tries to rush Mayweather. Mayweather backs up, catches him anyway with a hook.
Right.
And a whole brawl just breaks out. Both sides jump in. People from the crowd are jumping in. It's all crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mayweather gets separated from the fray. They get him out of the ring. They get John Gotti out of the ring. Even in the back, if you watch, Love and Hip Hop, Jocelyn Hernandez got to get into it with somebody named Big Lex. Like, it was just crazy pandemonium going on. Do you feel like this was real, or do you think it was staged?
So I'm gonna paint the scene. So I'm chilling, man. I didn't even watch the fight.
Me neither.
And then I low-key fell asleep a little bit, and then I woke up and I just seen you tag me in something. I was like, yo, what Chris tagged me in, bro? I look at it, I was like, yo, what the hell is going on, man? I was like, bro, I missed all this. Yeah. I was like, bro, so like, yeah, you painted it out, man. Like, nah, I really don't think that thing was fake, bro. That thing looked real as it could be, bro. It looked like the Malice in the Palace Part 2.0, just extreme version. You know what I mean? Like, that Jocelyn fight was way better than I'm assuming the goddamn Mayweather Gotti fight was. So, yo, Jocelyn that girl be wild. And I saw that whole video, bro. Like, she tore old girl up. You know what I mean? And titties was all hanging out. It was crazy. It was crazy, man. Like, if you ain't seen the video, go watch that. It was wild. So, I don't think it was fake. I think that was nuts. I think that was like, man, I don't even know how you explain that, bro. Like, that was crazy. Like, people out there were wilding. Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't understand the whole point of like what they got to. Like, were they like talking mess the whole time in the fight, and he just snapped or something? Like,
yeah, I don't know. He was holding. I guess he got warned a couple times in the fight.
Yeah.
And after that, when the ref called it, I guess he just got frustrated and still rushed Mayweather. And
because I was like, because I was like, sorry to cut you off, because I was like, when I was watching the video when you tagged me, and I was like, bro, why is homie tripping? Like, he just holding, and the next thing you know, homie stopped the fight, and then it's just like, bro, now you want to flip out on Mayweather, and then Mayweather got a good hit in, you know what I mean, when, you know, they all started like tripping out and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I don't know how long that thing went on for. I'm assuming it went on for a good 20 to 25 minutes, maybe even longer, especially all the stuff that went in the back area. But yeah, man, and then did you see what I think it was Gotti's sister or something, or her daughter saying all that? She tweeted some wild, crazy stuff, man. Like,
out a thread, you know, whatever. No disrespect to the Gotti family. I'm just saying, I'm gonna take
a little racial too, bro. Like, God,
live monkeys,
zoo animals and stuff. Like, bro, like, boss. Yeah, nah, man, that whole thing was just that low key, man. I was low key ashamed, bro. Like watching that thing, bro. I was like, man, these people wilding out, bro, for real. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was a mess, for sure. But
did you actually watch the fight? Did you watch the whole fight?
No, I didn't even see it. I didn't watch it. I'm not paying no money to see Floyd. I told you before, I'm not paying money to see Floyd fight John Gotti the third.
What round was it? Was it like first round or something?
It's like sixth round.
Oh, okay, okay.
It was like sixth round.
I'm sure people. I don't know how much they showed on the pay-per-view. If they showed all that, then you definitely got your money's worth for sure. I mean, you got like 20. You got like 20 fights.
I mean, you should have known something was wrong when you got Christian Rock performing. Like we should have.
Yeah, right there. That was another thing. I was like, bro, I just saw a video of her saying like, I'm never getting back with Blueface, and then Blueface does this weird ass video with his. Hey, no disrespect, but girl, he would now just nah. And then so then next thing I know, I see you know, her on stage with Blueface. I'm like, man, I'm like, the toxic behavior in that relationship, bro. I don't know why people still promote them, bro. Like, for real, man. They need. I ain't gonna lie. I feel bad for that baby, bro. I'm sorry. I do. I really do. They wilding over there. They tripping.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a whole mess. It's a whole mess. But hey, like I always say, prayers to everybody involved.
Bro, have you seen Blueface's girl?
Isn't that his baby mama?
Nah, Blueface's new girl.
No, I haven't seen it,
bro. My G, she looked like a bootleg Ninja Turtle, my guy. Like she's crazy. She's wow. All
right, let's move on. God, bootleg Ninja Turtle. She look that bad?
Hey man, you look it up. I don't think what I said was that bad. I think people been saying been worse.
Oh, okay. I'll look it up later. I didn't, whatever. we know his decision making ain't the best anyway.
Nah, hell no.
But whatever. Let's switch to the NFL, man. Dalvin Cook has been released from the Minnesota Vikings, man. There's been talks about it, but they finally did it on Friday. He is a free agent. There's been speculations that he could be a Dolphin. They say he could be a Bronco, and there's a plethora of other teams that could enlist in his services. Where do you think Dalvin Cook should go?
I think Miami would be a good look. I think the Bills will be a good look. Him playing with his brother, I think that 1-2 would be pretty nice. Depending what happens with Saquon, I know Saquon came out saying some stuff where he wasn't too happy in his predicament. You know what I mean? I know running backs are having a real tough time trying to get their second contract right now. So you have a lot of these guys like Jacobs and Saquon trying to fight for some for these guys, which I think they should, man. I think running backs get treated like crap, you know what I mean, for what they do on that field, you know what I mean, especially the numbers that a couple of these guys have been putting. But Dalvin Cook, man, I think he's still decent running back. I could see him going to a multitude of teams. I could see him, depending on, like, let's say, I know Alvin Kamara's situation is coming up, you know what I mean? Who knows how long his suspension might be. So if he's going to be out for a while, I think the Saints would be a good fit. I said the Dolphins would be a good fit. I think the Cowboys would be a good fit, especially with Tony Pollard coming off his injury. You don't know how long he's going to take to get back into the mode. So, you know what I mean? Honestly, I wouldn't even – who else could I see? Man, that's about it, honestly, bro. Like, I think Dalvin Cook still has some time left with him. Like, what do you think? Where do you think he should go?
No, I think the Dolphins. I'm definitely going to say the Buffalo Bills. They need a sure running game, especially when it gets late, November, December ish, when that snow get to coming down in Buffalo. They definitely gonna need a workhorse like Dalvin Cook to go with his brother. His brother's more so a scat back, fast dude coming on the outside, whereas
Right.
Dalvin can run between the tackles. So
Yeah.
he would be good with the Broncos, especially when you don't know how Javonte Williams is going to look coming out that ACL tear last year. So,
Yeah, that too.
you
Well,
know,
I saw. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
he could look good with the Broncos. I didn't think about the Saints, but the Saints would probably be a good option too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, any team that really needs a running back, the Cowboys, like you said, definitely could use him. But my 2-1 would be Buffalo and Miami.
Buffalo Mama. Yeah, I agree. You know what I mean? And then who knows? Like he could be in the type of situation where he might not get signed right away. You know what I mean? Like he might wait until training camp. And obviously, unfortunately, injuries do happen in the league. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there'll be a fit somewhere that he could have opportunity with. But I think ultimately, I know the Dolphins were trying to trade for him this past year, so I think eventually he'll end up on the Dolphins, man. I know he went to Florida State, so I know he probably wants to be closer to home.
Yeah, most definitely. I can see that. Hold on, let me get this right. Let's talk about it real quick. Frank Clark, he went to the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
He got signed this past week.
Mm-hmm.
Very instrumental in the Chiefs' 2 Super Bowls that we won in the past 5 years with Mahomes. I talked about it briefly on my Chiefs pod, but I understand why they didn't re-sign him back. He just recently did an interview and he said that the Chiefs came to him and basically said, "We're not going to make you off you because we don't want to insult you. So
Right.
we're going to cut you and let you go out there and get the deal that you think you deserve."
Mm-hmm.
And he even said 2 months ago he knew that he wasn't coming back to Kansas City because the idea was okay, look, go out there and get a deal. If you don't get the deal that you want, maybe we can come back, sit down at the table, and negotiate you coming back to the Chiefs.
Right. Right.
The Broncos were willing to give him. I think he got $7 million. I think he had 1 year, $7 million deal. I think it's incentive based though. But look, I always gonna say I appreciate what Frank Clark brought to the Chiefs. Um, he was very instrumental in us winning those 2 Super Bowls, especially in the playoffs. Did he show up all the time in the regular season? No, he always had little health issues with his. I think he had some like stomach issues, whatever. I don't even know what it's called, but gastro whatever that stuff is called with your stomach, where you got to take pills and all that stuff. He's always had that issue. So this is probably this past season. He came in like the best shape. He came in small too. I think he was like 255 pounds, coming into the season last year. But he was decent. He was definitely a leader in that locker room. He was instrumental for George Karlaftis coming along during the season too. So I always have respect for Frank Clark, and if anything, Frank Clark always gave us the best sound bites, and playoff time came around.
Right. Right.
So, and I said it on the podcast, you can't talk about this Chief era of football without mentioning Frank Clark. You have to mention Frank Clark.
For sure.
Just like you have to mention the Honey Badger. I thought him and the Honey Badger brought a different culture to the defense. After that first year with Mahomes, when he started, our defense was horrible. They at least made us, viable. You know what I'm saying? And they brought a culture and a dog to that defense that when we needed to show up, especially in the playoffs, they showed up. So So all respect. I don't want him. Look, he's a Bronco now, so of course I don't want him to succeed. We neither one of us want him to succeed.
but honest opinion, what do you think he'll bring to the Broncos defense though?
He'll bring leadership, and the difference between him being on the Broncos, because the Broncos defense was already good. Like you know what I'm saying. Like the stat that I always bring up about the Broncos last year is that they scored 18 points a game last year. They would have been 14-3 last year. That's crazy. That's a crazy stat. That is, your defense is really good, and I think they're a top 3 defense if they get good, play from their offense. If their offense is competent, you know what I'm saying. That's a good defense right there, especially especially in this day and age where it's hard to play defense and have a great defense per se. In this time where the offense is spreading you out and you got so many receivers doing so much stuff. I think he'll add leadership, and he won't have to be the main. He won't have to be the main pass rusher on this team. He could be a situational pass rusher. They can rotate him in and put him on the pitch count, so his health won't be in question. They can save him if they make the playoffs. They can save him for the playoffs and let him unleash him then, because that's when he turns up. When Frank Clark, when he's in the playoffs, he turns up in the playoffs. So
yeah,
I think he'd definitely be an addition to. I think he's going to get like 20 sacks or 10, 15. No, but if he can give them 7, that's a success for them.
So with him leaving y'all, do you think it'll affect y'all defense at all? A little bit, a lot?
I mean, from a leadership standpoint, I think that would definitely be a blow. I mean, I still think that they bring in a veteran. I wouldn't be surprised if Carlos Dunlap doesn't retire. I wouldn't be surprised they bring him back. It'd be his second year into the defense, so he'll be able to, not have to just think so much. He can just go out there and play this year, and what I'm saying. I could see them bring him back, or maybe what's his name, Ngakoue, or somebody like that come in, be the veteran. But I like the young guys that we got. The Charles Aminu guy, I think he's going to be valuable on the defense. We still got Chris Jones. I think Jordan Karlaftis is going to take a step forward from last year, because he was on a roll last year. So towards the end of the season, so I think he builds upon that. So I think our defense will line be fine. But I do want us to get another veteran, like a leadership veteran, in that locker room. So
you don't see any, do you see any of those young guys stepping up for the leadership role, or do you think you have enough leadership as it is already?
I mean, I can see George Karlaftis stepping up. We actually got a guy on the defensive line, Mike Dana, who's been with us for like 5 seasons. I think he could step up. We still got Derek Nottie, who's been there for like 5 seasons, so he could step up as a leader too. He's been in that locker room since Mahomes has started. So those guys could be guys that, step up. Not so much like great players. They're solid players, but definitely locker room leaders in there that can, help the young guys come along, especially the young defensive end that we drafted in the first round. Definitely going to need somebody to hone his skills in, because he's got all the tools. It's just,
right,
getting him put it all together. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And in that way, we don't have to put so much pressure on him to be an instant, success. You string him on a little bit, let the veteran guy start probably the first 5 seasons, and then push him in the lineup later on in the back half of the season, like they did Karlaftis. So, I think we'll be fine on the defensive line.
Well, as a Raider fan, man, I hope it damages y'all. I really do, man. You know him better than me, bro. But I hope it hurts y'all. That's what I really hope. You know what I mean? But we'll see what happens, man. I can't wait for the season to start, man. It's gonna get dull here pretty soon once these finals in.
Yeah, July's gonna come around. It's gonna be bad. We're gonna be watching cornhole and stuff like that. So.
Hey man, we're about to start reviewing movies here soon.
The world, what's that? They got tag now. The tag champions.
Yeah, they got tag champions. I think didn't they bring back American Gladiators too, or something like that.
I don't know.
Well, they had that documentary up. Have you seen that American Gladiator documentary?
Yeah, I saw the first one. Yeah, first part. Yeah. All right, man. I wanted to go over, since we're heading into the training camp in late July, early August. I wanted to cover divisions, AFC, NFC. So this week, I want to cover the AFC East and the NFC East.
Okay.
So let's start with the AFC East.
Okay.
Now, we all know the elephant in the room. The Jets signed Aaron Rodgers. They added some pieces, Alan Lazard, and they got some other guys over there. That defense is still good. The talk of the Jets was that if they just had a competent quarterback, they probably would have made the playoffs last year. You know what I'm saying? So they go out there and they get Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers looks like he's a little bit more motivated now that he's left Green Bay. He's participating in the offseason program, unlike he did last year, where he just came in and tried to play. He's actually bought into what the Jets are doing. It looks like he's happy in a happy space. We'll see how long that lasts, because you never know with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
But right now, it looks like everything is going according to plan. The Buffalo Bills, they're coming off of, we'd say, a disappointing season. Everybody picked them to go to the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
And possibly win it, especially getting Von Miller. Von Miller looked like he was a great addition to that team. Looked like he had found the fountain of youth, and he was looking like the Von Miller of old back in Denver.
Yeah.
He tore his ACL. That changed the plight of the defense. Plus, I do feel like, all prayers to DeMar Hamlin. Looks like he's back on the football field, ready to play this season. But I do think that they took a lot out of them emotionally and mentally. I think it took a lot out of the Buffalo Bills, and you could see they kind of limped to the playoffs. And then when they play, they play Miami, they might have should have lost their game to the third string quarterback.
Right.
And they lost to the Bengals. They just looked like they were just disoriented. They just wasn't there mentally. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a step back a little bit, because I don't know. Because the thing about this is that you're thinking that Von Miller is going to come back to form. We don't know. Father Time is always undefeated, especially your older play was 34, 35, coming off an ACL tear. It's asking a lot for a 34, 35-year-old. If he was 24, 25, then I'd be like, he's young. He can still come back and be the force that he was the year before. But I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Von Miller will show and prove, and he'll be the Von Miller old, and he'll make that defense go. They signed Leonard Floyd, another pass rusher that could add to that team. But I don't know offensively, will they be able to get up? Because my problem with them is they're too Josh Allen centric. If they don't change their game plan, they're going to be right back where they were. And they're going to lose either in the divisional round or maybe the AFC Championship game.
Right.
And then Miami, if they get Dalvin Cook, you know what I'm saying, that definitely boosted. But even without Dalvin Cook, I do think they made some improvements to their defense. They went and got Jalen Ramsey. You match him with Xavier Howard. Their offense is always going to – you got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Water. You're always going to be good on offense. Question is Tua. Can he stay healthy? With the concussion problems, will he stay healthy? And then who else is in that division? Patriots. They got Mac Jones. I mean, Bill Belichick's always going to keep the Patriots afloat because he's still a great coach, and he's always going to have that defense and that running game going.
Right.
Nah, I just don't believe in Mac Jones. So
honestly, man, like I think this division is going to be really competitive. Honestly, like I don't understand why people are giving the Jets this division so easily. As I said, there's still pieces that still need to be placed. You know what I mean? Like all the pieces on the chessboard aren't put up yet. You know what I mean? I said we don't know where Dalvin Cook's going to go. We don't know if there's going to be Trey still available. You still got DeAndre Hopkins still available. So there's still some pieces out there that we don't know where they're going to fit. At the end of the day, I think the Jets will improve. But I still think that the Patriots will probably be the fourth place division team in this division. I think the Dolphins have a really good chance of being the best in this division. I don't think the Bills will take a step back like you think they will. I think that season last year was very draining, especially with everything that was going on. And then, losing. I think they started losing everybody. I think they lost a couple of their cornerbacks. Von Miller is a big piece. So everybody should come back. Everybody should be healthy. If they get Dalvin Cook, I think that could be a step in the right direction of them being more of a balanced offense. I said at the end they need to save Josh Allen. They can't run him into the ground. He's taking too many hits, too many big hits. He's a big boy, but he's taking a lot of big hits, man. And sooner or later, that body's, it's going to turn into cauliflower, man. It does every time. You can look at Cam Newton. You can look at Ben Roethlisberger. You can look at all these big quarterbacks that are huge, but their bodies still tend to break down, the years that they started, gathering in the league. So I think the Jets, I think they're going to be one of the overhyped teams of the year. I think they'll have a chance to make the playoffs, but I think it'll be like a wild card type of thing for me. Their running back is coming off of ACL as well. They're having, contract issues with Quentin Williams and all that. So we'll see what's going on. And then on top of that, Aaron Rodgers is not a young buck no more. He's an old quarterback. He has some trouble with his calf muscle and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's just early signs of, or it was just a bad luck in mini camp and, or that could be signs for the future where he's going to start having some problems more and more. So, we'll see. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. But this division, I think, is going to be tough, man. It's going to come down to me, the Bills, the Dolphins, and the Jets. More so the Dolphins and the Bills for me. And then, I'm sure we'll have an episode. We'll make our predictions at the end. But, yeah, that's where I see it's going to happen. But, yeah, there's all this Jets hype needs to, calm down for a little bit for me. For real.
Yeah, I hear you. But I think the Jets will be good. I have to see Aaron Rodgers take them to that level where I start calling them like a Super Bowl contender or anything like that. I wouldn't be surprised if they make the playoffs, though.
Yeah, and don't think be surprised. Like the Bills, I mean not the Bills, but the Patriots, they actually have a competent offensive coordinator now. So you don't know how that's going to look.
True.
You know, they're always going to be competitive in games. You know what I mean? Like they will be competitive. Like, you know, but you know, it was kind of confusing how their offense was last year because you know they gave it to who was the guy's name they gave it to last year? Who was running there? He was like a special teams coach, wasn't he?
Joe Judge, and Pencil. What's his name?
Was it Matt Patricia? Matt
Yeah.
Patricia. Yeah. So man, then you know, you heard rumblings from where they're having issues where the quarterback wasn't too pleased. You know, he's looking for outside help. You know, trying to be like, help me, please. But so I think the Patriots will look a little different. I don't think they'll be more respectable. I'll just say that, where they'll be a little bit more competitive in games, and I think they'll win maybe a little bit more, but nothing crazy where I think they'll have any kind of chance to win the division though.
If they add D-Hop, would that change things for you?
I think if you add D-Hop to the Patriots, I could see them. I could see them where they would compete with the Jets. I could see the AFC East having maybe 3 teams make the playoffs. I could see a potential of it. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see a potential. I think if the Patriots get D-Hop, I think they would fight with the Jets for that 3rd place spot. Me personally, a legit shot.
Okay, for sure. Well, let's switch to the NFC East. Mm-hmm. You got the Cowboys. Everybody, the Cowboy fans, they think they're gonna win the Super Bowl every year.
Yeah,
but they lose Ezekiel Elliott. Tony Pollard's coming off of a broken foot injury.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They didn't. They added Brandon Cooks, which he's still a viable wide receiver. He stretches the field.
Yeah,
it will be a good 1-2 punch with CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup coming off a year removed from that ACL tear. So I imagine he will be able to come back into form than what he was before he tore his ACL, because he was looking like a really good wide receiver in that offense. Now the question will be is Mike McCarthy's now calling plays. We'll see how that looks.
Right.
Defensively, they did add a defensive tackle. His name? Mozzie Smith.
Yeah.
The defensive tackle, which a lot of people liked him coming out. He's definitely going to add to that defensive line. It's just the Cowboys are the Cowboys.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, they're gonna Cowboy it up.
The Cowboys are the Cowboys. The Giants, they signed Darren Waller. They signed what's his name to that contract? What's his name? The quarterback. Drawing a blank.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones. They signed him to that contract extension. Now Saquon just came out at one of his little camps and said that he's not showing up to mandatory mini camps, and he's thinking about holding out. Now we'll see how true that is. He's not signed his franchise tag yet, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
The Commanders, they got EB in the building as the assistant head coach,
offensive coordinator,
which I think by the midseason he'll probably be the head coach. But they look like they're trying to do things a little different over there. The team looks like at least the offensive side is bought into EB being over there. Their question is quarterback. Is Sam Howell going to be able to man this ship and at least make them respectable? If not, then they'll be picking in the top 5 next year.
Yeah,
because they got pieces, the offensive and defensively. It's just quarterback.
Yeah.
The Eagles look like they are going to go on another run. They just added and got younger and better on defense. They got Georgia Bulldogs on defensive side, and then offensively they still got AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. They just look like they got Swift in a trade. So Jalen Hurts, probably takes another step forward as top tier quarterback in the league, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. So they're probably the top dogs in this division right now. And then what's the other team?
You got the Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders. Yeah, so you pretty much went through it all.
That's everybody, right? So that's pretty much my thoughts on the NFC East.
Yeah, NFC East, man. I think I'll start with the Eagles. I think they're loaded, but I think their schedule is brutal. I think their schedule is brutal. So I don't think they'll have the same record like they did last year. They were 14-3. You know what I mean? I could see them maybe they'll go down to maybe like 12 wins. I could see maybe like 12 to 11 wins. I think their defense will be really good. You know what I mean? But, after how their corners played during that Super Bowl, who knows how that's going to look. So usually teams that have a great defensive year, they usually come back down a little bit, back down to earth. You know what I mean? So we'll see how that goes. I think the Cowboys, that's one team I really have no idea how their season is going to go, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how the McCarthy thing is going to work. I said you got Pollard coming off an injury. You got to hope Dak Prescott don't throw interceptions like he did last year. You know what I mean? They had injury problems last year as well. You got them saying their defense is going to be like Baltimore Ravens 2.0, from 2000, which we know that's not going to happen. So, with Stephon Gilmore and all that, I think their defense will be good. To me, it all depends with Dak Prescott. If Dak Prescott can, control the ball and not turn over the ball and give him more opportunities to score, I think they can score. They're one of the top offensive last year, but we'll see what happens. The Giants, I think they're gonna come back down to earth, man. I could see them being fourth place this year. I think they overpaid for Daniel Jones. Me personally, you don't know what's gonna happen with Saquon. I know they did trade for Darren Waller, so we'll see how that goes. I love Darren Waller, but he's been injury prone the last couple of years. It's probably one of the main reasons why the Raiders ended up trading him for a younger tight end. So, I think they're gonna take a step back. And with the Commanders, I'm low key kind of rooting for them.
Me too.
Being outside because of Eric Bieniemy. I really want him to do well with this team. And then I think overall, the Commanders had a really solid squad last year. I think they lost a lot of close games. They ended up being 8-8, and then they had the one tie. So, but overall, home and away. Home they were 4-5. Away they were 4-3-1. And I think the division is up for grabs. Obviously, I think it's Phillies to lose, but I wouldn't be surprised if Washington, if they can get Sam Howell to be a decent quarterback. I think their defense is amazing. I'm still kind of curious to know why they're trying to trade Chase Young. I thought Chase Young was a really good defensive tackle for them. I know he's coming off that knee injury. So maybe they just have so much talent that they can try to trade him to get, some picks. You know what I mean? That's what I'm kind of assuming, because they are really deep at that defensive lineman spot.
Yeah.
So who knows who they'll trade Chase Young for? They might get a player back. If they get a player back, that could help them out this year. Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up being the number 2 team in the NFC East, honestly. Like, I'll low-key kind of rooting for that. But we'll see. I think it'll be competitive between the three.
Yeah, I'm definitely rooting for the Commanders. I'm rooting for EB to succeed. You know what I'm saying? Because I want people to, see that, he deserves to be a head coach in this league, man.
Absolutely,
Like I said, the team is already bought in, but ultimately, teams will buy in when you win it.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a topic. I'm sure we'll have a topic where we'll talk about, black head coaches in the NFL because they've been having issues with that. And then Eric Bieniemy has been one of the ones that have gotten overlooked because of Andy Reid's greatness. We all know Andy Reid is one of the best coaches to ever coach in the NFL. But, at the end of the day, as I said, I'm rooting for him. You're rooting for him. You know what I mean? We have no dog in this race, but at the end of the day, I would love for him to succeed. My pops is a Commanders fan, so I ain't going to be mad at that. So hopefully they'll get it together. They'll get new ownership. Hopefully that fan base. That fan base was amazing when they were winning, you know what I mean? Yeah. So back in the day. So, I think that fan base has been through a lot, and hopefully they do some good things, and hopefully the new leadership, the new ownership of that new group will send them in the right direction, get them a new arena, get them some new better facilities, you know what I mean? So maybe even change the Commander name, because I still don't like that name, but that's just me. But I like that all black jersey though. The all black jerseys are hard though.
Yeah, they are.
I mean? So, nice.
Yeah. All right, brother, man. Another one in the books, brother. Episode 2. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Man. Another one, and hopefully the Commanders, the Golden Knights bring home the Stanley Cup by the time we record next week.
For sure.
And I hope all of y'all enjoyed this episode, man. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button, so that when we drop our episodes every Wednesday, you'll get that notification bell, and boom, you can push play. You know what I'm
Absolutely,
saying?
absolutely. Yeah, just give us any advice. You know what I mean? Topics, whatever. Just don't talk about my background, bro. It's gonna be all right. We gonna be all right, baby. We gonna be all right.
And just know we are available on all streaming platforms, whether it be Apple, Google, Amazon, Pandora, iHeartRadio. We are available on all those. So if you're not really a YouTube person, but you like to listen, we're available on all those streaming platforms. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Cris and Mal. Hit us up, man. Follow us. We will follow you back. You know what I'm saying? Because we are fans of sports just like y'all. We not Hollywood out here. You know what I'm saying? We ain't no big timers or nothing like that. And even if we were, we for the people. Man, you know what I'm
saying? We always appreciate every view, every like, every comment. You know what I mean? We appreciate everything. So don't think we will never take that for granted, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, brother. So all right, Mom, man. You have a good rest of your week, and everybody out there have a good rest of their week. We go.
Peace.